What up guys, we are here at the Nismo Omori Factory. Such a cool place with so much history and heritage. This is where they build the CRS cars. This is where they keep some of their museum cars. And also this is where you can buy all of the Nismo stuff that you want for your Skyline GTRs, which is probably what I'm going to be doing here today. But most importantly, there is one car here that I have been dying to see for years. It's here and I finally get to see it. Happy to have brought my R34. Next to me is this beautiful 510. That is hanging out here. This thing is so clean. And then we also got some other friends here. Junamai is here with his black R34 GTR. Of course, Mickey is still with us. Yaska's here. So we are going to go inside and see what we can see. And guys, I'm so hyped to show you this car that's inside here. All right, we are here and I can already see what I've come here to see. All right, so we're gonna work our way backwards here to what I'll consider the main event car. But right here we have the Motul Autech R35 GTR. This thing is so sick. If you look at how crazy the downforce on this is, how extreme the aero is on it, it is just massive. So wide and just an insane car. I can't imagine what it'd be like to drive this car on the track and just man, so crazy to see it here. The GT500 cars are my favorite race cars. They have the most practical design. They look so close to the real car, but have so many things that make it so much more functional, which is absolutely crazy. I love this car. It's so sick. But right behind me is the car that came directly before it. It's the Skyline R34 GTR. This car is absolutely iconic. It's as iconic as what most would consider to be the most, which would be the Pennzoil R34 GTR, which has a rich history in winning. Obviously, part of the reason that I love working with Pennzoil is that there is that GTR racing history. GTR racing is really important to me. I race a GTR, so for me, that is super interesting. But right behind it, so close, is this Skyline R34 GTR. And if you look at the way that it looks, I mean, it shows a lot of interesting body styling that is reminiscent of a GTR, but it almost doesn't even really look like a GTR. You can see it has the tail lights and stuff, and part of the reason this looks a little different is that it is not a GTR. This is actually a GTT chassis. That's what they raced back then, so this car is pretty wild. If you want to look into a true GTR race car, you need to see the one that we have at our shop, which is the Super Taiku cars. Those are true GTRs. But again, to compete in the series, it needed to be rear-wheel drive, so they used the GTT chassis. Right behind me, though, the car that I am most in love with, and the reason we're here, is the Pennzoil R33. So this car, also a winning car, followed by also a winning car that was followed by its R34, which went on to be a winning car as well. This car is obviously one of the most iconic Japanese race cars of all time. It is very, very well known. It is in all of the video games. It is in all of the print. It is in all of the media. The Pennzoil 33 and 34 were really, really, really important to this style of racing. And again, as I said earlier, part of the coolest, one of the coolest parts about working with Pennzoil on what I'm doing is that they're a sponsor in the same type of racing that I am most interested in, racing a similar car in the R32 GTR, and I could only hope to one day be able to drive one of these cars or a car similar to it. And who knows, with the R33 present now, maybe I will just go full all in making a Pennzoil R33 race car. But for right now, I'm going to stand here and just absolutely admire this car. It is so crazy and so interesting to think how advanced this car was for the time and the era that it raced in, especially when you look at the cars that came after it. So again, in order, the Pennzoil R33, the Skyline R34, eventually moving forward to Motul Autech R35 GTR. Man. So crazy. These three cars almost makes it to a point where you completely forget where you are, and where we are is the Nismo Omori Factory. So the Omori Factory is where a lot of these CRS cars are built, where all the CRS cars are built. you can see there's tons of them in here. So when this program initially started, we came here and there were not very many cars in here. There were the 3 or 4 cars that they had built for themselves, but now you can see the factory is full. Every single bay is occupied. There's very different cars in here from 32, 33, 34, and 35. So lots of people getting this done now. It's interesting, it's expensive, but it also will be unique to see how many they end up building, if it's going to be more than the Z-Tune or less than the Z-Tune. I think they're already at the point of crossing the threshold of the Z-Tune, so may not end up being quite as rare. Right here are the engine options that you have. So you've got the R35 engine, but then also the R4 and the S2 engine. So the R4 engine is something that we've gotten a handful of for customers in the past. To be able to do the S2 engine is a modern take on the S1 engine like Yaska has in his car. And then of course over here you have some of the earlier exhibition engines like the Rainick engine, so similar to what would have came in the 400R. This is the Omori Factory store, and you can see today it is super poppin'. There's tons of people in line to buy all their little knickknacks. And then you've got Mickey over here buying more stuff for his car. So, so many cool things to see here at the Omori Factory. I am going to do a little shopping while I'm here right now, see what I can find for my 34 and 33 and 32, and hopefully I can leave here with a handful of decent things while the exchange rate is still good. So one thing I just passed right over that I didn't even realize is that this is an actual Z-Tune, which is pretty crazy to see sitting here. There's a lot of CRS cars, so part of me had just assumed that the car was just a CRS painted Z-Tune silver, but real Z-Tune sitting right here behind the glass. Pretty crazy. All right, so we got some things here. I'll show you what we got, but when it's on the car, but good amount of things both for the 34 and 33. Yaska with the carbon airbox. So sick, dude. Can't wait to see that on the car. All right, so much needed.
I got the wrong fucking side.
Oh no.
Just the setup of that.
So these tower bar areas are really faded on my car, which happens really easily. So Mickey has these on his car and talked me into buying these today. And you'll see they'll go from faded to like this really nice carbon piece.
Just a little bit.
Mickey has much steadier hands than me, the caffeine junkie.
All the years doing vinyl graphics.
Oh man, yeah, Mickey's got it down.
The secret is the quick pull.
The quick pull. Damn, look at that. That looks so much better.
What's cool is it's actually real carbon fiber. A lot of people think it's just printed.
But it's like the whole thing.
It's like a laminated real carbon sheet.
Wow, man. Cool. That looks a lot better.
Oh, now you're going to win all the car shows.
Woo, that's how you win it. That. Nice and clean. We're getting out of here. We're going to head to a car meet right now, I think. So if that works out, we'll see you guys at Daikoku. We should have a bunch of cool stuff. Otherwise, we're hitting the road and doing some driving in Hakone. It's been freezing everywhere lately, and we haven't had a ton of views, but we are doing some driving. And this is the Hakone Turnpike. Taking Nate for a little cruise here. We got Mickey behind us. So they call this the Japanese Nürburgring, and this road is so sick. The curves on it are incredible. It's very, very smooth. So not a lot of bumps or anything to worry about. It's all so nicely paved, and there are just super incredible curves ahead. Something is going on in front of us. Somebody's doing some photo shoot. Filming. A little photo shoot, and we're pulling up on them right now. So somebody's going to be surprised to see two R34s pull up on them. I don't even know what kind of car that is, but here we are. Views from here are just absolutely epic. You can see for miles and miles up here. It is really clear now that we're down below the cloud cover. It looks like these cars are going to let us pass finally. It's a little dangerous to do it there, but yeah, the roads here are just absolutely beautiful, and we're going to put the camera down and do some driving. At the stopping point right now, this is one of my favorite places to stop at when I am out driving in Hakone. This turnout area is super cool, incredible views, and it is kind of at the start point of my favorite road that runs up to the Sky Lounge, which is pretty cool. Amazing views up there, Fuji, but it's super cloudy up there, so not a lot of that. But Nate's here getting some photos. One thing about this place that's also really interesting, over here is a little garden with a shrine that is for the safety of drivers, and you can come here and make your donation for safe driving on the road.